Hello, awesome students. This is Miss J. I'm going to do a quick lesson on essay writing, the thesis statement. Okay, in reading some of your essays, I'm seeing that a lot of you are having gaps in understanding what a thesis is. So I want to go over that really quickly and just kind of reiterate some things that you should know and that you should be doing. So don't avoid the thesis statement. It's really important to all of your writing. All right, so first of all, let's look at what a thesis statement is. It is a roadmap for your paper. So think about a roadmap and what is it? Well, you don't use roadmaps, but roadmap like on Google, your Google Maps, right? And this map would get you to where you needed to go. That's what a thesis sentence is. It's basically a map, and it's going to guide your reader through the paper. It's just going to be one sentence, though. That's the tricky part. So when you look at a map, you can see, oh, okay, from beginning to end, I'm going to end up here. The paper itself would be the journey. So let's look at the thesis statement. A thesis statement, what is it? Well, basically, it's a single sentence. It's located at the end of your introduction, which is your first paragraph. So in your introduction, you're going to start off your statement or your paper with some interesting facts, a hook, something that's going to captivate your reader. In that introduction, you're going to lead up to the thesis statement. Okay, that's this thing right here. Oops, sorry, let me go back. So you don't want to start off with your thesis statement. Sometimes students will automatically just throw in that thesis statement at the beginning of the essay, but really it's better if you lead up to it and make that last sentence in your first paragraph your thesis sentence. And that's basically what's going to kick off your paper. It also tells the reader what your opinion is and what your paper is going to prove. Every essay that you're going to do, whether it's an opinion piece or if it's a fact, if you're giving, if it's an expository and you're just giving some information for the reader, you're going to prove something. You're going to be giving your reader some information. Your job in your thesis statement is to tell the reader what your opinion is, what your paper is going to prove. And that, again, is that roadmap part. It's basically the whole thing of what you're saying in one sentence. And then, of course, it directs your reader to the main pieces of evidence you'll be exploring. It's typically 3 to 4 claims that you're going to be making in your thesis statement. Let me go ahead and explain that a little further. Okay, don't get bored with me, guys. I know it's a little dry, but this is information that you need. So the thesis statement checklist, let's look at that. You're going to ask yourself, is my thesis within my introduction, first paragraph? You always want to go back to that first paragraph, and you should easily be able to identify which one is your thesis statement. And we'll look at the thesis statement in just a little bit. Second, does my thesis answer the prompt? So remember, your prompt is whatever's being asked of you. You're being prompted by whatever the assignment is. If it's Ignitia, if it's SAT, if it's something later on when you're in college, you're going to have a prompt. What is being asked of you to do? So does your thesis statement answer the prompt? And then finally, have I considered that my reader does not know what I am presenting? Always, always, always assume that the person who is reading your paper has no idea what you're talking about. That will cause you to be a better writer because you'll find that you need to explain everything. Now, of course, we already know that your reader is going to be a professor or your teacher, and they already know this. Don't assume that your reader knows this, because when you assume that, what happens is you'll leave out valuable information that you need to include in your paper that's essential to explain whatever, again, you're trying to prove in your prompt. Now, then you'll ask yourself, is my thesis statement clear with one single claim? What you don't want to do in a thesis statement is be so vague that you can't see what the one claim is. And you don't want to put too much in the thesis statement that your reader is saying, well, I'm really not following what they're trying to prove. What is it? Is it this or is it that? So you want to make sure you have one single claim. And then finally, does my thesis include 3 supporting claims? Okay, wait, Miss J, you just told me 1 claim. Now you're telling me 3 claims. So supporting claim is a little bit different than the one single claim. The one single claim is going to be what the main whole essay is about, right? And again, we're going to look at what we're talking about in just a little bit. The 3 supporting claims are your 3 main ideas that are going to support and give evidence to what you're saying. So I know you probably want to see one so you can understand what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and look at one. Okay, so here's an example thesis. First, the prompt. The prompt is, what significant change has impacted society in the last decade? The thesis to this prompt is, society has seen dramatic changes in our climate in the last decade to include unforeseen weather patterns, loss of essential ecosystems, and decline in oceanic glaciers. Okay, so you'll see here, I'm going to use my little cursor so you can see what I'm talking about. Right here is the one thing that you are talking about, the dramatic changes in our climate. That's the one main topic, right? Your three supporting claims are unforeseen weather patterns, loss of essential ecosystems, and decline in oceanic glaciers. You can tell very easily what these are because you can see that they're offset by commas and they're one right after the other. And that's really what you want to go for. As you become advanced writers and you go off into college, your thesis statements will not look as simple as this. They will be much more complex and they will have a lot of depth to them. But for now, let's keep it simple and make it real simple. Topic, you're going to have your one claim at the beginning and then follow it by your three main points. All right, now let's go ahead and do a checklist. Okay, so we're going to check off and make sure we're doing everything we're supposed to. And I've highlighted where we see we've done that. So the first one, does my thesis answer the prompt? Again, the prompt, what significant change has impacted society in the last decade? Our thesis, society has seen dramatic changes in our climate in the last decade. Right there. You've answered the prompt with that one highlighted little section of your thesis. You have answered your prompt. The second one, is my thesis statement clear with one single claim? So again, I've highlighted that where we have done that. Society has seen dramatic changes in our climate. That is the one single claim. The dramatic changes in our climate is the one thing that the paper is going to be focused on. And of course, it's going to be broken down by those three main supporting claims. And then we'll look at that right now. So does my thesis include three supporting claims? Society has seen dramatic changes in our climate in the last decade, and here you go, highlighted to see. To include unforeseen weather patterns, loss of essential ecosystems, and decline in oceanic glaciers. So this thesis statement does that. It answers all the three supporting claims. It gives you the one major claim, which is the dramatic changes in our climate, and it does answer the prompt. All right, so let's go ahead and sum it all up. Remember, your job is to be clear with your ideas. You must research and support what you're trying to explain to your reader. Never plagiarize, not even a little. That means don't even pull a phrase and copy it word for word. Every idea and every thought should come from you and what you've researched. Get involved with your topic. And finally, write something you would want to read. All right, well, that's Miss J's little quick thesis statement reminder of how to write a good, solid thesis statement. Watch this again if you are still confused. Love you guys. Bye.